still preparing on my other side. So we'll see if it's going to do it right now. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Get Good at Business Facebook group and community spotlight. I am Taylor Proctor, your host and business coach, helping you get good at business so you can get back into why you got into business in the first place. And today I'm so excited to highlight a wonderful person, an incredible business owner, Stephanie Phillips. Stephanie, thank you so much for joining us today. We're so excited to learn from you.
Thank you so much for having me, Taylor. I'm so excited to be here and just kind of talk through and learn more about each other and tell people about my business and what I do. It's exciting.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay. So a little bit about Stephanie. Her personality is a mix of ghetto meets suburban mom, and she loves that about herself. And I love that description. So good. She keeps it real, and what you see is what you get. She has a strong faith in God, and that's what keeps her going through all the hard things that life throws at her. She is passionate about people and loves learning about people and how we as a collective human race work. Her current career journey includes being an intuitive life coach, which we'll dive into pretty extensively here on the call in this interview. And she's called to share her talents to help others find peace amidst the storms, be present in the moment, and find a renewed zest for life. She has her business, the Higher Perspective Program, which allows her clients to see their life from a bird's eye view. Through one-on-one and group coaching, she teaches concepts to provide tools to help people identify the places where shifts in direction are needed, while also encouraging them to look beyond their limits. She believes success is founded on the strengths of your relationships. By creating genuine connections, she aims to help her clients achieve congruence with what they say, what they do, and what they believe, so they are free to choose their lives, thus strengthening their personal, family, and business relationships. Stephanie, you are a badass. We're so excited you're here today.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So excited to be here. This is great. And that's right. You were a badass too, Taylor. Women in business. Gotta love it.
So let's dive in. I love that you have a unique blend of personality traits, right? That ghetto meets suburban mom and a very strong faith. And that seems to be a driving force in your life. So can you share how these aspects of who you are inspired you to become an intuitive life coach?
For sure. So I think I love the description, and I always love to pay roots and tribute to where I came from. I grew up in inner city Cleveland, Ohio. So grew up in the hood and really had to overcome some challenges of, poverty and but also mixed with, going to a Catholic high school, and so I had a very interesting childhood. And so I always pay tribute to where I came from and always where I'm going, because it helps me just to see how far I've come. And I think that really stems a lot about my personality, right? You've got to keep it real. My Instagram handle's at Steffi from the Block because, paying tribute to J-Lo, but it's really like, that's true, right? Like that seems to be just a driving force, like you said, in my life of making sure that I stay grounded as I'm going through either challenges or having success, right? It's like always knowing where you came from, so that you can see how far you're also going and have gone. So yeah, as far as relating that to life coach, that is really why I became a life coach, is because I've had these challenges in my life that I've had to overcome. And, really what's gotten me through is staying grounded and remembering why I'm doing this. It's really important to me to help others gain clarity and have a better perspective for their life, because so many of us are just either in autopilot or we're making choices for our lives that are not what we may choose if we weren't so influenced by parents or spouses or just general society, of telling us what we should be doing. And I really love to help people do what they want to do and what's going to be best for them. And honestly, you have to stay grounded and know yourself in order to do that.
I love that. And kind of how I'm interpreting that is, right, stay grounded, my brain still went, you're still stepping from the block, right? But stay
Yeah.
grounded, but you're not limited by that past. You can choose the different and new. I love that.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
So
Hmm.
what have been some of the most rewarding and or challenging, or and usually those are the same, right? They're challenging and then they get really rewarding, right? What are
Yes,
the most rewarding and or challenging experiences that you faced while running the Higher Perspective program,
absolutely.
especially with your authenticity and grounded approach?
Right. So I love that you added that, because I think that is the challenging part of it, is that and like you said, they go hand in hand. So challenges then become rewards. So really what I find is my program is not, it's so cutesy and fun to like play off the J-Lo and the words and the things and all of that, but really it's accountability, right? And so my program isn't for the faint of heart, right? So we have fun, we talk, we laugh, and we do, you know, and we talk about, you know, hey, overcoming challenges and stuff, but it is really a program for accountability. So you have to be ready. You have to be ready to make the changes that are necessary to achieve the goals that you want to achieve, right? People come to me because they're stuck. So to get unstuck, you have to do something different. And I think that's one of the hardest challenges, is that people don't really, they say they want change, but when they have to actually make the change, they're like, and so goes everybody. I think everybody can relate to that, right? Like, I'm not trying to sit here like I don't do that too, right? Because I definitely do. I have my own things, but it's you have to be ready. And so I do get some people that are like, I really want or need a life coach, and then they sign up, and I'm coming at them like, okay, well, these are the things you have to do, and they're like, oh, right. And day one out of the program, you're gonna find out that we're going to hit it hard. We're not going to, you know, skim over and, you know, talk about floofy stuff. Like, we're getting into like, okay, mostly because if I say that I have a program that's going to change your life, it's, I got to back that up, right? Like, I'm not going to put that out there and then not be able to fulfill what I say that I'm going to do for you. And so it's important. And so that becomes a challenge, right?
Yeah.
The reward is amazing when you get people that are like, okay, no, I'm ready. This is hard as hell, right? And no, I don't like it sometimes. And you ask me really hard and ridiculous questions, and I don't want to do it. But they stick with it, you know, they remember their why, they go through and complete the program or continue the program, and their lives are significantly different, right? They're living life with vibrancy and zest, and they're happy while they're still having all of the challenges and all of the trials that they face, but they can do that with a higher perspective, which is why the business is called that.
I love
Yeah.
it. And just, you know, just that was a really nice bring that right back around. So actually, I think this is a really good time to share about the freebie that you are providing. We have the link in the title, but
Yes.
you mentioned like 4 pillars to help you achieve that success and that what you use in your program. So do you want to share a little bit about those pillars and that freebie?
Yes. Yeah. So these are part of the program. They're kind of in the second half of the program that we talk about, but they are productivity, persuasion, psychology, and physiology. And those are 4 pillars for productivity, or excuse me, high performance. And high performance, by the way, can be anything that you're trying to achieve, right? People think, oh, high performance, and they get caught up in business or, you know, some other ideology of what that might mean, but really it's anybody that has a goal and they're trying to achieve it, right? Because achieving goals is a trademark of high performing people, which most of us are, even if it's a small goal, right? So they're questions just to kind of keep by your desk as an everyday reminder. Set the intention for the day. It's really great to have if you work really just anytime, but a lot of people keep them by their desk before they start work, just to kind of set the intention for the day. So it'll take you through a series of questions just to keep in mind um, throughout the day, what it is that you're trying to achieve, and what I say vibrancy, but what are you putting out into the world, right? Because what you put out into the world is what you get back, right? So it helps you keep into a mindset of like, hey, why am I here? What am I doing? Right. And so those pillars of high performance will help with that. So yeah, it's a great tool.
I love it. Awesome. So go ahead and check out that free resource from Stephanie. And in that, I know that in your coaching and even with that free resource, right, there seems to be a really heavy emphasis on intentionality, being present, and finding peace. So what practical tips can you offer for maintaining this mindset consistently, especially during challenging times, right? We're business owners. It feels like every other day is a challenging time, right? So what tips do you have for consistently being present and finding peace?
Yes, I love this. And I love the question because being present and having peace are often outcomes that people are trying to achieve. Mm-hmm. So for example, I know that, or they learn that I need to set boundaries and say no so that I can clear things from my schedule, not have so many things to do, not feel overwhelmed, and be more present in my day. That the outcome that they're looking for is to be more present in their day. And the way that I like to look at it is, what if being present and finding peace were the goal? So it's two separate things, right? So in the first scenario, setting boundaries, saying no, those are the goals that are going to achieve the outcome of being present and finding peace. But if you make peace and being present the goal, that shifts, that completely shifts your mindset, right? So now the idea is keep your eye on the goal, which is to have peace and be present. I mean, can you imagine if that every day, that's what your goal was to be present in the day? And that's what you thought about all day long, right? Yeah. It's like, hey, my goal is to be present, right? So especially during challenging times, right? Hey, you've got fires burning, but if your goal is to be present, then the fire's got to burn sometimes. And that's hard. That's really hard for a business owner, is to let the fires burn or let somebody else take care of the fire while you're focusing on what you need to do, which is to be present in your day and not get distracted by everything else going around you. Also for finding peace, right? This is probably, I feel like everybody's goal should be finding peace. And a great way is just meditation, right? And I love the phrase "protect your peace." So encompassing like, hey, again, it's a lot of distraction. What can I stop being distracted by, or what can I eliminate from my day? Or that could be person, place, thing, whatever. That really upsets my peace, right? And you don't have to constantly put yourself in situations that are drama or that cause you conflict or chaos, right? You can choose something different. So I think having the goal every day just be, hey, I'm peaceful. I meditate a lot, and I think that helps to drown out the noise. And then the other things are really, they're simple but not easy, and they're the most annoying things that any coach or person is going to tell you. Are you sleeping well? Are you eating right? And did you exercise? And exercise is a hotbed for me personally, but I have found like, hey, even just going outside for a 2-minute walk, is something that can help, right? But most often clients, when they're feeling overwhelmed or when they're feeling, like everything's just falling apart or there's too many things going on, I'll often ask them, how much did you sleep? Well, I was up late doing this project and, I have a deadline. I just had to get it done. I'm like, okay. But that when you don't sleep the designated amount of time, by the way, we learn what the designated amount of time is for you because it's not the same for everybody, right? Some people are good at 6 hours. Some people need 8.5 hours. So we through this program, we learn what works for you. And I say, did you sleep? Well, okay, then that when you're tired, those thoughts are going to creep in more, right? Would
Those
you eat?
emotional reserves are drained.
Yes, the emotional reserves are drained. And sometimes that's all you can do is go to sleep or make sure that you're eating healthy or go for a 2-minute walk. When you're really in the thick of things, just surviving is sometimes where you're at, right? And people don't like to admit that. But sometimes, especially as business owners, if you're, really trying to grow your business and working hard on some amazing goals, oftentimes the first thing goes is your health, right? You forget to take care of yourself. So I'm always reminding people, just take care of yourself. Make sure you're sleeping the right amount of time for you. Make sure you're healthy, eating as best as you can, right? And get outside even for just a couple minutes, and make sure that you're walking, exercise of some sort. Again, whatever fits for you.
I love that. And I love what you said too about like, what if peace and presence is the goal versus like setting boundaries? Because to me, those are two completely different energies, right? Setting boundaries can feel a little cumbersome and like I have to keep on reminding myself, and it's me against something versus I'm just going to choose peace today. And if I can share like a real-time example, I'm in another Facebook group and big surprise, who isn't, right? We all have multiples. And I had a comment removed. And so I messaged the moderator and I sent him a voice message so they could know my intent. And I said, hey, I had this comment removed and I don't actually feel like it was against the guidelines. And in fact, I was answering what the OP was asking. So I was providing value in that response. Can you share with me why it was removed? And they responded back, oh my gosh, thank you so much for being open-minded and like trying to learn. Turns out it was a mistake. But they had a couple of people that just ripped them a new one about it, right? And I was like, I'm choosing peace, right? How you even approach situations that may be triggering. If you're choosing peace, you come at it with such a completely different way than if you're like, I'm trying to set boundaries and I don't agree with this, right? It can shift the emotional exchange.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So I love that you brought that up.
Absolutely.
Could you share a story or an example where your coaching led to a significant, and I think they're all significant, right? Transformation or aha moment for one of your clients?
Yeah, so I'll pick one that's recent. I'll maybe, if we've got time, I can give a couple, but recently, and I think I want to share this one because it's important. Again, distinction of mindset, right? Is I was at a group. I was in a group at a mastermind event actually, and we were networking. And one of the things that we were doing was you were kind of going around and seeing how you could get help from other people. And being a life coach, it's really easy to talk to people, right?
You can help in any area of life.
So, but we were talking about goal setting, and somebody brought up they're discouraged, right? They're feeling discouraged and they're having a hard time because a client didn't renew with them, or it wasn't even didn't renew. There was a possibility they might not. They had to pause for something, but the person internalized that as I did something wrong. They don't want to renew. They're like I shouldn't be, like it really spiraled down, right? And this is so common, right? Discouragement is one of the lowest frequencies that you can have, and I think it's because it leads to so much spiraling, right? It leads to those dark holes that seem like you can't ever get out of. And so I explained to her, I said, well, how do you know that that's true? And she was like, well, I don't. And she was like, but I feel like that. Like that's how I feel. Right. And I said, I know, but do you realize that not everything that you feel is true? Right. And it's really hard, especially as a person who is intuitive and empathetic. That was really hard for me to realize and learn, that not all my feelings are true. And so, but that takes a perspective, right? Shifting that mindset to, hey, I'm in scarcity, I'm spiraling, I'm going down this path of, this is just not going to work out. Like, you know, for me, to, maybe she will sign up again. Maybe that's not, maybe I'm overthinking it, or, you know what I mean? And kind of shifting. And her whole body just felt lighter. You know, the energy in the room was just a lot lighter, because we went from, we had a whole shift, right? Like you were talking about, a whole shift of energy into a mindset. Was like, and then I see on Facebook, even the next day, that I don't even know if it was the same client, but she's like, this other client signed up for all of these hours and all of this stuff. And I'm like,
There it is.
like, right? Because sometimes your feelings, while they very well, they are valid. Like, I do not want to dismiss the validity of anybody's feelings, because they are real, right? But that doesn't mean that they're absolute, and that doesn't mean that they're true, right? And so I deal with a lot of clients with that, and I think it's important to me, because it was something that I had to learn for myself, right? Especially when, I think, going back to challenging times, right? It's really easy to get caught up in the negativity. But when you are able to shift into positive, and I had her write down, and I don't know if everyone knows this, but for every negative thing you say, it will take you a minimum of 3 positive things to cancel out the negative energy, to offset. Yes. And so I had her write down what she was feeling, and then say 3 things that were positive and almost opposite of what she was thinking, to offset that. So that is one that was really, really helpful. I think the other thing is validating people's experiences. So I have a client who has ADHD, and he loves and hates that he had at this time. And so he was just really, again, discouragement, just discouraged, you know, feeling like he wasn't being as productive as he wanted to be. And he just needed somebody to, instead of asking him and telling him, and I think a lot of business coaches sometimes get into this mindset, because business and life coach overlap, right? Like, they overlap. Business coaches teach life coaching teaches about business, right? And so he was like, I just need to hire an assistant, or I just need this thing. Really, he didn't. He needed, I had asked him a simple question. And I said, how is your family doing? And he just starts crying. And he just starts crying. And he just tells me that, you know, he's having a really hard time. You know, he's struggling in that area. There were some things that I can't share here for confidentiality reasons, but he was really struggling. But it took me just taking a step back and not focusing on the problem at hand sometimes, and just taking that step back and directing, to get him to open up about what he was really feeling. Because sometimes the surface level problems aren't really the problems, right? And so you have to dig deeper. You have to go down to what really might be causing this anxiety, right? Be causing this frustration, or this fear, and really get to really what it is that you're wanting to achieve, or wanting to solve. And so that was another breakthrough, is just the simple questions, right? Of like, hey, how's your family doing? And that opened up a whole world, you know.
I love that. And I love your specific highlight on discouragement. I lead a mastermind group, and we met on Monday. And it was so funny, because we were laughing about, you know, we're overcoming things, we're masterminding together, we're getting, everybody in the group is sharing wins, and then be like, this is what I'm struggling with. We're coming up with ideas to help each other. And we started joking, like, we need to sell wall pillows, because business ownership is a constant, like, okay, I'm just hitting my head against the wall for a second, right? That discouragement, and then that resilience to come back through. And so I love that you really highlighted on that, and that resiliency of, sometimes it is something else, and sometimes you can go deeper into the emotions, and that helps you work through it to come back out on the other side. So I love that. Thank you.
Yes, my pleasure. I mean, this is why I do what I do. I mostly because I came from right? Like that's like full, we're bringing this all around, girl. We in there. But that's where I came from, right? Like I came from that. I came from discouragement. I still get, right? Like I still get discouraged.
Yeah, we all
Right?
do.
But I know what it feels like to be in a pit and to not know how to get out. I know what it feels like to feel like you don't have anyone, or you can't talk, or you are too scared or prideful sometimes, to share how you're really feeling. Like I know what that's like. And I think that's where my intuition comes from, is like I can I can recognize it because I've been there,
Yes.
So this is
Love
good.
it.
And I love it. I love connecting with people that way. We need more of it. The world needs more of that
100%. 100%.
connection.
So speaking of the world needing more, what are your future aspirations? What is the next level, the more of your coaching business? And how do you plan to evolve your program, the higher perspective, to continue to make that positive impact?
I love this question. I'm just getting started, honestly. I have been behind the scenes. It's probably why I won't ever watch this video again, because I don't love being in front of the camera. That's not my thing. And so I've been doing coaching for quite some time, just behind the scenes, right? So I've been just on my own, kind of doing one-on-one and group coaching, but just kind of silently. Now my website will launch in January, officially, and I will start offering more out to the world, not just as I see it or as I'm being referred to people. So really the higher perspective program is we're taking over the world. It's going to be great. And I'm so excited for the growth that is coming. I want to do a podcast, and I want to really interview. I love this format. This actually gave me some ideas about doing podcasting more live instead of having to go through all of the editing and all that. We'll see how that goes. It might be really interesting. But so podcast, and then just more. I want to do group coaching, because I think I see a lot of benefits of that, of bringing common people together. It goes faster because people are willing to share more. When somebody else shares their story, they're like, oh yeah, well, I had, right? I mean, we did that in this call right here. And so I love the group coaching. So I'm going to be offering some group coaching coming up in January as well. And so if anybody's watching, just keep an eye out for that. And then we'll see. Really, really the goal is to help people feel empowered, like they have control over their own lives, and that they're living life joyfully and with zest. They feel playful, they feel vibrant, because anybody can make millions and millions of dollars. But if you're not happy, if you don't have good relationships with the people that either you're in business with or your family and friends, then what is it for, right? Then money's just money, right? So really what I want to do is make sure that as people are growing and achieving and doing all the things that they want to do, that they're living life happy, being happy. So I'm excited. It's going to be great.
So good. So good. So one last time, remind everybody about your free resource and why they should check it out. And then we'll wrap up and go from there. So one more time, why should they get the free resource and what should they do?
Because it's a daily thing that you can just keep. There's not any real homework or anything, but it's a daily reminder of the intention and the energy that you want to put out in the day. It will also, as we've been talking, help you overcome some of the distraction, discouragement, and challenges, and just keep your eye on the task that you want to achieve for that day. Be present. That's the goal. So yes.
Love it. And that link is in the description of this video. So if you're watching this, you can go check out that link right now, get that amazing free resource from Stephanie. Stephanie, thank you so much again for being on our show and being highlighted in the Get Good at Business Facebook group today. It has been an honor. It's been so fun to be able to chat with you, get to know more about your business. And we'll see you more in the group. And I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll chat soon.
Yes, thank you so much, Taylor. I appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye.